Hello students, good evening. This is Venugopal from Thoughtflow Institution. So today let us start with one more chapter called as Surface Chemistry. When it comes to CET, we can expect one or two competitive questions from Surface Chemistry, and for NEET we can expect one question. So let us go through with major synopsis of the chapter Surface Chemistry. So this Surface Chemistry chapter is categorized into three subbits. One is called as adsorption. The second one is termed as catalysis, and the third one is termed as colloids. From each and every bit, I am going to discuss the major concepts where the competitive questions are going to be asked. So before starting with all this, first one should know the meaning of adsorption. Here, adsorption means the accumulation of molecular species at the surface. So the molecular species will appear at the surface rather than in a bulk of a solid of liquid is termed as adsorption. And when it comes to this adsorption, we should know two important terms called as adsorbate, and the second term is called as adsorbent. When it comes to adsorbate, the substance which is being adsorbed on a solid surface. So substance being adsorbed on a solid surface is called as adsorbate. And when it comes to adsorbent, the substance present in bulk on the surface, the substance which is present in bulk on a surface of which adsorption takes place is called as adsorbent. After knowing these two terms, we should know one important term called as sorption. Sorption means here both adsorption as well as absorption takes place simultaneously. That is known as sorption. And we should know one more term called as occlusion, where occlusion means the gas is adsorbed on a solid surface. This is known as occlusion. So after knowing this, we should know two important types in adsorption known as physical adsorption, which is also called as physisorption, and one should know about the chemical adsorption, which is also known as chemisorption. So when we go through with this physical adsorption and chemical adsorption, physical adsorption is a phenomenon in which the adsorbate is held on the surface of an adsorbent by weak van der Waals forces. When it comes to chemical adsorption, in this chemical adsorption, the adsorbate is held on adsorbent by a strong chemical bonds. So here the binding capacity is with strong chemical bond. When it comes to physical adsorption, it is with van der Waals forces. Always this physical adsorption is reversible, whereas the chemical adsorption is irreversible in its nature. And when it comes to physical adsorption, it is not specific, means the adsorption is not specific, whereas chemical adsorption is highly specific in its nature. It is called as multimolecular layer adsorption, whereas chemical adsorption is called as monomolecular layer adsorption. These are the certain differences that has to be known with physical adsorption as well as chemical adsorption. After knowing the meaning of physical and chemical adsorption, one should know with the meaning of adsorption isotherm. And in this adsorption isotherm, we can study the variation of amount of gas that is adsorbed, the amount of gas that is adsorbed by the adsorbent with pressure at a constant temperature. Here the temperature factor is kept as a constant, and this is known as adsorption isotherm. When we go with a concept called as Friedrich adsorption isotherm, This Friedrich adsorption isotherm is given by the equation x by m is equal to k into p to the power of 1 by n, where the value of n should be always greater than 1. So after knowing all this, one should know the important applications. Please don't forget to read the applications of adsorption. The application of adsorption is very important, where we can expect a question. So when we go through with the second bit of the chapter, this second bit of the chapter is known as catalysis. So in this catalysis, there are two types. One is called as homogeneous catalysis and the other one is called as heterogeneous catalysis. In this homogeneous catalysis, both reactants and the catalyst, they are present in same phase. Hence it is called as homogeneous. When it comes to heterogeneous catalysis, both the reactants as well as the catalyst, they are present in different phase. That is called as an heterogeneous catalysis. Another two terms are very much important in this, which is called as catalytic promoters and catalytic poisons. When it comes to catalytic promoters, the catalytic promoters is one which increases the activity of catalyst, that is known as catalytic promoter, and a catalytic poison is one which decreases the activity of a catalyst. Added to this, we should know one more important concept in catalysis, that is related to zeolites, where these zeolites are considered as shape selective catalysis because of its honeycomb like structure as well as its porous nature and due to the framework of aluminum, oxygen and silicon. So after knowing this, one should know the important applications or industrial applications related to catalyst is also very important. And when we move on to the last bit, that is colloids. Here one should know the meaning of a colloid. We know that a colloid is a heterogeneous system in which the particle size lies between those of true solutions as well as suspensions. Means the particle size which is in between true solution and a suspension is called as colloid. And in this chapter of colloids, we should know majorly about two different types of colloids called as lyophilic colloids as well as lyophobic colloids. When it comes to lyophilic colloids, in this lyophilic colloids, the dispersed phase has an affinity over the dispersion medium or the solvent. This is known as lyophilic colloid, or else you can also call it as these lyophilic colloids can be called as solvent loving species. And the lyophobic colloid is one in which the dispersed phase has no affinity over the dispersion medium. Hence, these can also be called as solvent hating species. After knowing the meaning of this lyophilic as well as lyophobic colloids, one should know the different types related to colloids. There are three different types of colloids. That is, one is called as multimolecular colloids. The second type is called as macromolecular colloids. And the third type is called as associated colloids. After knowing the different types related to colloids, you should know the methods of preparation of colloids as well as purification of colloids. And in this, there is one important concept called as peptization. Please do know the meaning of the term peptization, where peptization is a method in which a freshly prepared precipitate is converted into an colloidal solution. This phenomenon is called as peptization, and you should know certain purification techniques related to colloids, which is known as dialysis, and you should know the meaning of electrodialysis as well as ultrafiltration. And along with this ultrafiltration technique, you should also know certain properties of colloids. Added to this, one important concept that has to be known in colloids is Hardy-Cesule rule, because we can expect a compulsory question on this Hardy-Cesule rule, where this Hardy-Cesule rule explains that the larger the valency, if the valency of a particular ion is larger, hence the precipitation power is also greater. This is known as Hardy-Cesule rule. And after knowing this Hardy-Cesule rule, one should know the important applications related to colloids. And added to this, we should know about a simple concept called as an emulsion. Thank you.